Mr. Burns?
Thank you. I want to thank the El Segundo Chamber of Commerce for sponsoring us and the League of Women Voters. Thank you very much, and everyone for attending. My name is David Burns. I currently work as the emergency manager for UCLA. I was selected from a nationwide search because of my experience and track record of leadership and project management. I'm the only non-incumbent candidate for City Council with working city budget experience. As a 25-year public safety official and former employee of the El Segundo Fire Department, I learned to be decisive, to analyze situations, and create solutions. The El Segundo community has witnessed my character as an employee and a community leader, and how I address challenges and adversity as a husband and father to a daughter, Megan, and a son, Nicholas. He showed us why El Segundo is the greatest place to live in our hearts and minds. I support our schools. I value my working relationship with the school district. My wife is a high school counselor at the El Segundo Unified School District, and I know the district officials, and I'm proud of my relationship with the board, and a favorable rating from the El Segundo Teachers Association. In local government, I have served on the board of directors for the California Emergency Services Association, a governor's task force, and chaired local preparedness commissions. I worked closely with champions of public safety, former Mayor Mike Gordon and Mayor Pro Tem John Gaines, worked with Congressman Jane Harman on the South Bay Terrorism Task Force, addressing regional planning with 27 cities in the county of Los Angeles. I was compelled to run because as a resident I was disappointed in some of the limited communications and responses expressed by the council to our residents. People bring valid issues to the council and need to know they're being heard, never feel they're being ignored. I will address your concerns with heartfelt respect and earnest resolve. The city faces many challenges, including LAX, downtown development, parking and planning, Edison failures, service to our seniors, and maintaining the look of our Mayberry roots and culture. I ask that you bring trusted leadership and experience to work for you. I am first on the ballot, and I'd like to be your first choice for City Council. Thank you.
And thank you. And for the first question, Main Street El Segundo has undergone a transformation over the past decade. The city has spent considerable funds and some new developments have been added or are under consideration. What would you like to see happen in the future to Main Street? And what would you do to attract more retail tenants? Mr. Burns.
I would like to see plans that's supported by the community. I think the diversity of the town is mixed, and people really aren't really sure what to do down in downtown. Foot traffic is not supported by the parking problems that compound the issue of creating foot traffic, which drives business. The element is having people shop. Also, maintaining the charm of our Mayberry culture is essential, and I believe people like the small town environment. I'm also, the diversity of businesses reflect the community needs. I think that needs to be addressed. But I'm also concerned about increased costs. Shifting city employees and downtown business employees to the parking facility has to raise the question of who would pay for that. I don't think paid parking permits would be supported, and the community would support increased costs for the downtown residents and employees that work there. Thank you.
And we're going to start with Mr. Dragoni.
The fast track process through City Hall, I think, is a great idea, but because we're fortunate to have such a large demand of businesses wanting to come and open up a business in El Segundo is amazing. I think City Hall has done a fantastic job at trying to maintain the paperwork flow and accommodating to the contractors and architects. I think what's most important in any case is communication. So as long as the communication line from City Hall to the contractors, I think we'll be able to achieve and make sure that everybody's happy through the entire process.
Thank you. Mr. Bush.
Thank you. This has been a specific challenge for our city over the last year. We've had 6 empty positions in the last few months in our building and planning and safety department. And just in the next couple of weeks, all those 6 positions that are budgeted for, that are open, will have been filled, which will go a long way to help work on our backlog. The City Council also recently approved $350,000 in additional funds to work through that backlog, and I specifically asked our city in our last council meeting to come to us with statistics. And the statistics that came to us were shocking, actually. 918 permits are in the process waiting to be approved. the process can take over 6 months. That has to be addressed. The staff is working on it, and I am keeping a very close tab on it because I've heard about this issue time and time again from both our residents, our builders, our developers, and our large businesses. It is absolutely a crucial issue we have to resolve.
Thank you. Mr. Jacobson?
Yes, this problem really snuck up on us because of the positions that were vacated, people moved to other cities, business development mushroomed. We got many more permit requests and so forth. The fast tracking was not able to be done because everybody was asking for the fast track. It was a very cheap way of trying to get the permit through. So when you put all that into the pipeline, it just slowed it down. We have now budgeted more, which will be coming back with return of more permit fees and so forth. So it's not a budgeted item. It's going to pay for itself. But we're trying to catch that backlog up, and I think we will be doing it fairly shortly. We need the statistics, but I don't want the statistics to hold up getting those permits out.
Thank you. Mr. Georges?
Yes, thank you. Well, we have to find ways certainly that will be of good instructional use to people seeking permits and outlined on the internet and such. If we're short on positions in the city, that's certainly the problem that we cannot get things through because not all the work can be examined. But it should be a priority, and that's what we need to do if we are to advance and get work going. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Burns?
The city, I think, to benefit this situation, needs to forecast an impact on the permit system. And with major developments, several, at least 5, have impacted the fast track process for at least 18 months. The city needs to examine a faster review process, which is either weekly or monthly through the department heads of the backlogs, and employees need to be placed before a crisis. The city needs to employ a robust customer service and measures to issue the permits in the systems that are already out there. And I believe that if the city addresses the customer service issues, develops a fast track and review process, the permits that need to be issued now can be addressed, and we can expedite the issue of further permits as they're processed in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Burns?
The city, I think, to benefit this situation, needs to forecast an impact on the permit system. And with major developments, several, at least 5, have impacted the fast track process for at least 18 months. The city needs to examine a faster review process, which is either weekly or monthly through the department heads of the backlogs, and employees need to be placed before a crisis. The city needs to employ a robust customer service and measures to issue the permits in the systems that are already out there. And I believe that if the city addresses the customer service issues, develops a fast track and review process, the permits that need to be issued now can be addressed, and we can expedite the issue of further permits as they're processed in the future. Thank you.
Okay. Third question. Sepulveda Boulevard is under the control of Caltrans. This can cause significant delays in making road improvements for businesses that front this street. A good example of this is street improvements at Plaza El Segundo. Some cities have implemented or are in the process of considering a takeover of their portion of Sepulveda or PCH. What is your opinion on this? Mr. Burns?
Well, I agree with Mr. Bush that the city needs to really examine the cost, because this cost could bankrupt the city if we were to take on such a challenge, even in lean years. But I believe partnerships, grants, and innovations need to be identified or researched to fund essential needs. The city needs to work with LA County, Caltrans, and other state officials to synchronize the lighting systems down the Sepulveda corridor, because this isn't just an El Segundo problem, it's a regional problem. And the city needs to publicize alternate routes as road changes and other corrections are being made. I think the citizens need to be given proper communication of the routes and the changes, and so that they can plan their day accordingly. But we live in a densely packed area, so it's all going to be an ongoing challenge for the residents and community of El Segundo. Thank you.
Thank you.